Hey there, everybody. Welcome to AV Asia Pacific Lockdown Podcast, and I've got Martyn Shirley on the line. He's General Manager of Blustream. Big news today, Martyn. You've taken on Jans for the Australian distribution as your Australian distributor. Do you want to just announce that, explain that?
Yeah, so we've appointed Jans as our distributor for the commercial channel. So Blustream already has a very strong distribution network within the residential space through the CEDIA type markets. And over the last year and a half, we've been working on many products that are more suited for the commercial channel rather than residential. So for the last 6 months, I've been tying up, in an ideal world, which commercial distributor would we pick? And I think we'd all agree there's not much stronger in the market in Australia than Jans.
Seems like a good fit. Could you, for the sake of those listening who, I think everybody's heard of Blustream, but some won't associate Blustream with commercial AV. So do you want to just giving us a little bit of the background and how you've headed into commercial AV?
Yeah, so we've had a subsidiary in Europe for over 5 years now, and the European market is a lot more swinging towards the commercial sector. So the UK is about 50-50 resi and commercial, but mainland Europe is 80% commercial, 20% resi. So the CEDIA channel in Europe doesn't exist in the same way as it does Australia, New Zealand, Canada, US. So our European partners have been driving a product roadmap for us for the last 3 years, saying we want Dante, we want collaborative, we want presentation switchers, we want a lot more audio features within our products. So we've been working on that now for a few years, including AV over IP, which is very important to the commercial sector. And we feel the product portfolio is right now to have another distribution partner in Australia to be able to channel those to the appropriate places. Current distribution network, most notably Qualify, is exclusively residential.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And I should point out that you're a Melbourne company.
Yeah, so head office is here in Melbourne, but we have almost a parallel setup in the UK. So product validation's done, and the product development team is as much taken part in the UK in our office in Nottingham as much as it's done in here. So it's almost like we have a parallel workforce. All of our marketing is done out of the UK. And we share the worldwide support, so it's great because we have support on almost every time zone. As we transition into the evening here, we're transitioning into the morning in the UK.
So what have you made of the commercial AV market when it comes to, I guess, the portion that you're exposed to, as it were, like the AV over IP market? Like, how's it serviced now, and where does Blustream fit?
Oh, it's very competitive, and we put ourselves on the map when we won a very prestigious project in Korea, which was the Korean Winter Olympic Games 2 years ago. And a lot of our potential commercial customers started saying, who's Blustream? Including our competitors. So at ISC last year, we had our product on the Crestron stand being compared A and B to theirs. And I saw that as a compliment, not a negative. Having,
I think you might have been the only one who did, but there you go.
Yeah. Well, I'd see that. We're only 5 years old, so to be compared alongside Crestron is a compliment. And we had a lot of people channeling down to our stand to say, hey, I've just seen your product on the Crestron stand. Tell me more.
Yeah, who the heck are you? Yeah.
Yeah. And then from that Winter Olympics game, we were actually lucky enough to tender and win the Summer Olympics. Now that's on hold, but the product's in a warehouse in Tokyo waiting for the project to go live. So we're going to be the signal transport provider for the whole of the Olympic Games, which is...
That's enormous and
yes.
Amazing. And can you describe, I guess, kind of the parameters of that it's easy to roll off your tongue saying, it's responsible for all signal transport for the Olympic Games, but what does that mean?
Well, I'm not as quite over the detail as my team members, but the main application, as I've seen, the parts I've seen, is for all the press rooms. So if you're in a venue, you need to have access to all of the live video streams from that particular venue. So let's just use the ice skating rink as an example for the Winter Olympics. But you can also then dial in to our product and then call any of the live video streams from any other venues. So depending on what that press person was working on, he could have access to live video streams with 1 frame of latency from any of the multiple venues. And that was the prerequisite. They wanted as close to zero latency as technically possible.
Okay. So am I right in thinking that you're using the SDVOE chip for that?
No, we're not at this moment in time. We're using another chipset which delivers up to 4K resolutions over a 1 gig network, utilizing multicast. So it's high, but it's still quite high bandwidth requirements, but super low latency. And obviously it's using compression, but the compression is very good. And to the naked eye, most people don't pick it. Okay. It's not quite as technically sophisticated as SDVOE, but it doesn't require that 10 gig backbone, which can limit your options in an install. Yeah.
So, $1 million question: how do you win a Olympic technical bid?
Flexibility. It is down to the flexibility of the team to be able to listen to the requirements that they want and be prepared to go out and put the resources in to make it happen. And just to have a flexible team. We're only a relatively small team compared to our competitors, some of our larger competitors, and they asked for a whole load of features that made sense, but we didn't have in the product. So we went out and we got them. We put them in the product, and a lot of those features have now found themselves way into the product of selling it today, into the second generation.
So is it almost like an R&D kind of loss leader to do an Olympics? Like, is there actually money in it, or
without going into any commercials, because I'm sure we've got to be very careful what we talk about. We didn't do it solely for the financial benefit. We done it as a team to prove to ourselves we could deliver a project of that scale. So that was our biggest motivation, and we achieved that. And the fact they've come back and we're providing the same solution on a larger scale for Tokyo shows that we succeeded in. So we learned a huge amount on that project, and that was, you couldn't put a price on you couldn't put a value on what we learned by delivering that project as a team.
Sure. Coming back to the here and now, what does the COVID crisis mean for Blustream?
Too early to say today. We're changing our working practice, so we have 1 person in the office per day, and the rest of the team work from home. We're delivering a lot of webinars, and so a lot of our customers who are stuck at home rather than out on the road earning money are using this time to learn. It's going to have a substantial impact on our revenue, but only time. Give it another month and I can give you an answer, but it's going to be substantial.
Yeah, so it's really not a case of asking what's fallen off a cliff. The question is there any markets that have withstood COVID? It's
hard because our export market's very busy, but the lead time, when we sell a product to export, that could be 3 or 4 months before it hits the market. So we're still exporting products globally, but the day-to-day sales in Australia have slowed. I wouldn't say half, but maybe by 30 to 40%, and I think it's only going to get worse. I think and the UK is probably halved in revenue as well, our UK office.
And if you had to make an educated guess, where's the money coming from when we start to get out the other side? Is it government? Is it
Oh, that would be an educated guess from my standpoint. I haven't really been studying. I like to think that there's some pent-up demand at the end of this crisis, and hopefully that'll only be in about 3 or 4 months' time. But only time will tell. I think it'll be an educated guess. At the moment, as a business, we're in a healthy position. We haven't got greedy owners that are pulling out all of the fruits of the last 5 years. We're in a great position to be very successful at the end of this. We haven't laid off any staff. We haven't asked any staff to take holiday. Everyone's working, doing what they're doing, business as usual, and hopefully we'll have a great set of products to go to market at the back end of this.
That's really good. Martyn, thanks for your time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for your insights, and good luck with the commercial move in Australia.
Thank you very much.